Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been such a long time since I've actually had the time to sit down and do a talking video. Work has been crazy. I've been working full-time for the last 4 months and haven't really had the time to actually plan something and record something. But now, I finally do. To avoid complexity, I'm just gonna have a random time lapse in the background while I talk. What exactly am I gonna be drawing? I have no idea. I will figure that out post-editing. What exactly am I gonna be talking about today, you may ask? AI. Yeah, the dreaded AI discussion that is flooding the masses as of lately. I wanted to talk about it because I feel it's been getting so excessive to the point I can't ignore talking about it. I feel like every week I'm seeing some random bitch use AI for their business, commercial, concept art, and profiting off of it by lying to people. I'm so tired as an artist constantly having to see it plague my spaces, and I need people to wake up and realize that we do not need to live with it. Generative AI specifically. Moving forward, I want to state that I'm not entirely against the use of AI, primarily just generative AI. AI has many positives and can be used for good. One of the many examples being in the medical field, where AI is being used to help advance their technology, to help diagnose patients much faster and accurately compared to what it's been in the past decade. Generative AI, on the other hand, is a fucking parasite that has negatively impacted artists and the industry as a whole and has not made any positive impacts. Unless you're an industry executive excited to save money by firing your creatives. I'm sure you've seen the many trends of turning yourself into a Ghibli character, a Tim Burton character, into a mermaid, or yourself starring in the hit horror movie franchise Scream. All of these share the same common theme, which is stealing art and effects from already established artists. How exactly and why is it such an issue for those who don't know? Generative AI doesn't have the ability to create original content. While it may come off that way, it technically doesn't. You can type out any prompt and generate an image to your liking, but it's not an original image. Generative AI uses data and information it collects from all over the internet to create a mismatch of art from that said prompt you typed up. Generative AI is created on stolen art from other artists. Not to mention the amount of energy and water consumption it takes to use AI-based programs. Some people are already dealing with the lack of water due to these data centers being built, sadly. The more it's being utilized, the more power is going to be used, which is going to contribute to more e-waste, pollution, and potentially use up a lot of the water resources in general. Jumping back into the creative side of it, it's a major issue for artists because they aren't signing off on their artwork to be used to train AI, and it's totally unethical. We went from this only a few years ago to this, and it's starting to get so concerning. I'm sure after explaining all of the negatives from using AI, I'm gonna get those AI defenders whining and crying in the comments about not caring or why does it even matter. But it's such a big fuck you to artists and proves yet again that art and creatives in general are not taken seriously in these professional fields. Not to mention that it's not just gonna affect artists like I'm focusing on, it will affect everyone in the future in many possible ways. AI is clearly not going anywhere and we're obviously going to have to adapt to it, but that shouldn't mean us artists shouldn't get proper protections and rights for our art, and it shouldn't be used to train these AI programs. There should also just be regulations in general when utilizing AI as a whole. I don't think it's something every person needs access to. A common theme I see when people defend themselves using generative AI is the fact that they have no artistic ability or they don't know how to draw, and that using AI helps them get their ideas out there. And my response to that is, whose fault is that? Like, what do you mean you have no ability to draw? What do you mean you don't have the talent to create? Art and creating is not a skill you are born with. You don't just come out of the womb and start painting fucking museum-worthy pieces. It's like any other skill out there, and it takes years of time and dedication to get where you want to be. Pick up a fucking pencil, open up YouTube, open up a book, and draw. I think the worst excuse I've seen is non-disabled individuals use being disabled as an excuse to use AI because to them, people with disabilities can't make art without AI. Bullshit. Saying that as a non-disabled individual is a huge disservice to the many disabled artists that are out there. You, my friend, are just lazy. Do you know how many artists I've seen make beautiful pieces of art that don't have arms, that don't have legs, some that have created art using their mind and sound waves? I've witnessed so many amazing accomplishments being an art student, and it's such an ableist response to say AI is meant to help disabled artists. They don't need AI's help because they already are killing it. Stop using people with disabilities as your cop-out just because you're too lazy to draw, write, or edit. And yes, I'm talking about you, Marcus de Paula. There are many ways to avoid being like these losers. The first one is easily just learning and practicing on your own to get your ideas out there. It's much more satisfying on your end. Second is hiring people to do it for you. Many people do this if they have no ability to draw. Hello, many comics have teams of writers and artists working together to get those ideas visualized. 3 is less likely, but still possible. There are probably artists out there to do stuff for free, just for the fun of it, even if you don't have the funds. Is it ideal to be paid for stuff? Obviously, but make friends with artists, share ideas. Maybe that can bloom into something more. AI doesn't have to be the answer, because at the end of the day, it's still not your creation. Because what did I mention earlier? AI is trained on other people's work and it steals from that. So no matter how many times stuff is generated, you aren't the original creator of that said piece. It's not original. There's nothing more that I hate than AI or the bitches that lie about using AI. Very frequently, I've stumbled upon many people using generative AI and claiming it as their own original work. I find it so baffling because it's quite obvious AI was utilized or just completely used. 99% of the time, it's just completely used, and it's so frustrating because they are fucking scamming people. Etsy specifically has a horrible AI problem, and unfortunately, Etsy allows it. After looking up the terms and services, it shows that Etsy does allow AI products unless they are strictly labeled that AI was used. You'd think that would make things right, but people don't follow guidelines, and it should have been obvious people wouldn't. I stumbled upon a large quantity of shop owners offering illustration-based services, and I put that in quotations because they quite literally don't illustrate anything. They provide services for aspiring authors/writers who are looking to make books. This shop specifically, I reported for lying and not disclosing that AI was being used. I'm pretty sure they got the notice for the report because recently they added that AI is not being used in their product descriptions, which were not in there in the beginning. The obvious loophole is just lying, and Etsy will allow it. The most they are charging is almost $600 for book illustrations, and people unfortunately are buying them not knowing they aren't getting proper work that actual artists would do. How do you know exactly this person is using AI, you may ask? There's many tells to look into, and this shop is a walking red flag of obvious tells. Inconsistent art styles. Not saying it's impossible for artists to have multiple art styles, but you'd be able to tell that the different styles still hold attributes the other styles have that correlate to the artist. Here, we don't see that. We see very children's book-esque art, then we have super anime-esque art. It's fucking fishy. Next is art inconsistencies. Many random errors you see in the art that normal artists wouldn't make. random blurring, hands melting into each other, missing limbs, confusing posing and composition. In the shop, we see it all. I'm sure there will be people saying, artists make mistakes all the time. You can't just make that big of a claim. Let's look at the shop owner's actual art compared to what they have in their shop. Boom! 2022, we have this. To 2023, we have this. A year difference, and you're telling me she all of a sudden became a prodigy on coloring, shading, rendering, and composition in a year when her art looked like this and lacked all those qualities. Now, I'm saying it's not impossible to improve within a year, but to this extent is unheard of. Girl, you are not Kim Jong-gi. And to preface, this is not me coming at her art for how it looks because, hello, we all start somewhere. Hell, this was my art many years back. I'm more so pointing out how unrealistic it is and the blatant lies she's telling her customers. She's scamming them, which is so wrong, and a lot of these writers are trying to get books published, and no one is going to want to buy a book with seemingly obvious AI plastered on the cover and illustrations on the inside. Can we please stop relying so much on AI? Man-made art is much better and has more soul than anything AI whips up for you. So, what now? Where do we go from here on out? Like I stated before, I think there needs to be certain laws and regulations put in place when using these programs. I feel like we're already going that direction with the recent massive update for Sora AI because of how advanced and realistic generated content is from them. I myself am having difficulty distinguishing fiction from reality, and it's so concerning. I see companies are taking action from not allowing certain IPs from being generated for people's disposal, which is a good step in the right direction, but I'm sure people are going to work their way around it somehow. Even though we aren't going to get rid of it like we'd all like to, I'd say give creators your full support and listen to them as they fight for creative rights for all. The Animation Guild is constantly trying to make sure changes are made and protections are given to the artists in the industry. One of the major reasons for the writer's strike was for protections towards the implementation of AI in the industry. It's going to be an ongoing battle, but with the support of others, I'm sure we will be able to come to a good solution. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my rant about this topic. I feel like I've been going crazy these last couple of weeks after being bombarded with AI everywhere, and I need to let off some steam. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more content in the future, and if you want to see more consistent art from me and daily progress on projects I may be working on, consider following me on other social media. Till next time.